Sorry guys, sorry we're late on Friday Night Live. For those guys that are going to be logging in soon, we'll start talking about some, well actually late, reason why we're late. So for those guys who are watching this afterwards, what we've actually got here is we've got a pistol, doesn't matter what brand it is. It's in 22 long rifle, and the problem is that 22 long rifles, you need a bolt face set at the right depth to be able to get them to extract correctly. And so we've measured down and actually found that originally this bolt face was about 18th thou too shallow, so that's why it won't hold cases, which is why it won't extract and why it won't eject. And there's two ways of remedying that, but we're actually making some jigs and stuff up, and Ross, who's got the hold of the phones, made up a special tool holder to use a special end mill that we had made specifically for this job. So that's why we're late. Trying to fix that, which has been a bit of a mission. But anyway, in the meantime, we'll wander out the front here. So for those guys who haven't been out the back here before, that's the lathe, that's the mill, which you might have seen in some photos before. And then this is general gunsmithing areas, which is behind the wall that you would have seen from out the front. We got something special to talk about.
So,
oh, you got the mount here?
Yeah, I got the mount set up already.
Sweet.
So we're on the roll. There's no more printer going, so those are those guys that have a cry about that every time.
Big super. Nah, don't push any buttons on there, yeah? Make sure you're not pushing that.
Trying not to.
Oh, my guts. Everyone got to see my guts on.
Yeah.
Wiping the sweat off my brow. I was going to wash my hands, yeah?
Absolutely
good.
Fucking hell, I can't even get this thing straight.
That's alright, doesn't really matter. As long as it's there somewhere.
Let's call it there.
I mean, you got it back to front anyway, so.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, it's cool. It's
Fuck.
supposed to, mount's supposed to be facing the other way. The tripod's facing the right way though, which makes a nice change.
Yeah.
Let's step it back a little bit.
Take it back to the start, I suppose. G'day everyone. Hope you guys are staying cool. We've obviously just hit summer, so it's really starting to warm up out there. Boys out the back are sweating their boxes off. In the sales office out the front, that's not too bad with the aircon going. We've got that set at a crisp, 17 degrees all day. So make sure you come in and see us. I won't be out the back, but come in and do that. What else have we been doing? Wow, been absolutely flat tack this week. Got a couple of cool things to talk about tonight. We've got, well, we'll go through the specials. So the specials for this month, for the rest of this month, they're a fairly decent one. And you guys have been waiting for a little while. We've all been waiting for a little while, but we've finally got our first shipment of the Verney Carron Veloce shotguns. Unfortunately, we only got 3, which is, we've sold more than that. So the first 3 lucky guys have managed to get their hands on those. Hopefully the next ones in are not far away, however they probably won't be in until sort of the first quarter of next year. So hopefully that happens quicker rather than, the normal of what we're expecting since COVID's been on. But yeah, we'll be going through those a little bit. We've got one tucked away behind us here. So just as a bit of a sneak peek, there she is there, but we'll get a little bit closer and a little bit later on, and Zaine will go over it with you and tell us what he thinks. I've still got one of the Speedlines down as well, so you guys can have a squiz at that and see what the differences between the two are.
Has Dave still got the other one with the other magazine in? Where's Dave? Is he next door?
He went next door.
He's probably still got the other one.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, so that's about what's been happening this week.
I've been crook for a couple of days.
Zed's been off again for a couple of days. Sandy vagina, I think, but it is what it is. I have stocked up on all of our side cut knives, and we've got a few more Green River packs, the Dexter knives and bags, a few targets, that sort of stuff. So if you are looking to get yourself or one of your loved ones
rifle with the
the
mag that
Christmas present, then you don't need to buy, or don't need to have a license to buy it, then that's probably a good start. We have got a few more VX Freedom 3 to 9s on the shelf again. the 3 to 9s have been extremely difficult to get over the last sort of few months, and we managed to get our hands on another 5. They do have the tri-MOA reticle in them, just can't get the duplex ones anymore, but you know, if you can, the tri-MOA are really easy to use, they're not overly complicated, so that'll be something that's worthwhile looking into as well. Got the Caldwell E-Max Pros headphones back on as well, in FDE, and I've also got a couple of the kids ones, so get in and have a look at them while you can. Oh, thanks Dave. Dave's running over to give us a look at those. So we got the green ones for the kids along with the orange, and the FDE for the adults. So get in and have a squiz at them. They're really, really well priced electronic earmuff. So yeah, get into them. The other one that I reckon is going to be a good push, because it's summer, what a perfect opportunity to get someone that you love or yourself a brand new set of sunglasses. And why?
Mine here.
I don't know. No.
I left mine on the dash for Frank Hugh, yeah? He says he's got them, but...
Why wouldn't you get yourself a set of Leupold sunglasses?
I have.
I have too, and
I'll pretend these are my Leupold ones.
I've been running these now for the last few weeks. They are absolutely awesome. They cut the glare down brilliantly.
Oh yeah, because yours are Polaroid.
Yeah.
The ones that I've got aren't Polaroids, it turns out.
Alright. And I've actually smashed these up quite a bit since I got them.
What happened the first day you got them?
I
Tell everyone what you fucking did.
I headbutted a trailer.
You did.
So yeah, and they actually survived. They took a knock on the lens, but absolutely no scratch, which was amazing. But I did manage to scratch the frame up right on the nose piece here. And then the following day, I get out to the farm and managed to drop them in the dirt, right on a big rock, and they survived. So kudos to Leupold, worth every cent that you spend. So yeah, one of them. We can still get them right up till Christmas too. So if you come in, I can get them air freighted right up to like the 20th. So if you want a set, get in, let me know, and I'll get your set ordered. Yeah.
Gift vouchers.
Gift vouchers. We're still running gift vouchers, so they're another good thing to buy for your loved ones or even yourself. Shit, you want to give yourself a present, get yourself a gift voucher for us. Don't need a license to buy that, so that's mint. I will also move on right now to our specials, because I want to get all this shit over and done with so that we can talk about the Veloce, to be honest.
There you go.
So, gun safes. All the safes in stock that we've got, we're going to be running at 10% off. So you're actually getting a really decent saving. You know, like a H8 from Hunt Pros, normally $545, that takes it down to $490. Right up to the biggest one, so we've got some Lockaway Lock 3DKs, which are the digital 3Ks. Out the back, they're a 10 to 12 gun safe. They were 810, that takes it down to 730. So you're looking at upgrading your safe, get in and get those while they last. Bipods, I have bipods and more bipods. Any high score bipod that we've got on the shelf, 15% off. So that doesn't matter whether it's one of the carbon fibre ones or just their standard ones. So that knocks them down quite a bit, you know, from 110 bucks down to 92, stuff like that. And the last one, bore snakes. Everybody needs a bore snake in one of their shooting bags. They're fantastic to use out in the field if you need to give yourself a bit of a quick clean. Even your rifle, you need to give your rifle a quick clean. And we've got 20% off them, so
Both sorts, the Lyman quick draws as well as the hoppies.
I'm going to run it on all bore snakes.
There you go.
Yep. I know the tag says hoppies, but it's all the bore snakes that I got. So get in and get yourself one of them. Get rid of that. Cool.
Do we pass on to Bill about old shit, or have you got something else you want to talk about?
No, Bill doesn't want to talk about old shit today, he told me.
No, I've got old shit.
Holy shit, he's on! Alright, well I'll get out of the way and we'll let Bill do his thing, eh? And we'll be back. I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. Well, no, and Bill about 45.
He's only got 3 this time.
Was that it? Hang on.
15 minutes each.
Are they 3-0s again?
They sort of are. 2 of them.
You know what would be nice right now?
What's that?
With the heat that's oppressing us at the moment, how nice would it be to have a beer?
It would be, but police licensing would suit.
A
Someone's
really nice hashtag Great Northern would be fantastic. And I do have to thank Lukey for dropping me off a carton of Great Northern yesterday. So, thanks very much, Luke.
I thought it was ours.
No,
but of
no, no.
course it
He bought you guys collectively a carton of Corona. He bought me a carton of delicious Great Northern.
Fuck off. If it was the other way around, you would be like,
No.
communist Trent. Oh, we've got to share this out equally.
Nah, because it happened to me the other day. Ross got a fucking 6-pack of Coronas from a guy. Did I ask for any of them? No, I just let him take them back.
You bashed him up in the car park instead.
I didn't even
Fuck,
complain
you
once.
didn't give us because you don't drink it.
Beside the point. Yeah, I don't see where he's going with that. What's the issue?
It's free, so who gives
Thanks,
it?
Josh, for that 6-pack.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And if Zaine came to work occasionally, he'd probably get given beer as well. But apparently, no, he's got a Sandy for joining.
No, I'll hit up. You want to hit up Great Northern? I'll hit up None Such from fucking Tasmania, the whiskey manufacturers.
Who was that? Nunya?
None Such.
No. Anyway, here we are with some old shit.
Why am I getting this? I'm not getting any.
What we've got here is genuine Lithgow heavy barrel telescope.
That's fine.
Number 1 Mark III Star HT.
Pick it up so people can see.
Hey?
Pick it up so people can see.
Okay.
No, they're going on there.
This was, these were built at Lithgow in 1944-45.
Catch your mate.
Yeah.
They were a bit of a make do with what we had idea. Previously, the Australian Army had picked a lot of old actions, like First World War actions, which were supposedly a little bit better as far as tolerances went in the manufacture, and they'd fitted them up with a heavy barrel and like bedded the system in, not with any boxes or anything. They just fitted the wood up to them nicely.
Spent about another 6 or 7 minutes putting them in.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly flash, but
Probably
anyway.
used a rasp and then some sandpaper instead of just a rasp.
Yeah. Anyway, then they were issued to marksmen, supposedly, people, soldiers who could shoot a little bit better than anyone else. And because we didn't have anything in the way of sniper rifles except a few early P14s that were probably not gifted to us, but they came from the British Army, and they were issued very sparingly. There was only about 70 came to Australia. The Brits only made about less than 2,000 at the end of the First World War.
What did Doc Wheatley in East Timor use?
P14 was, yeah.
So he used one of the only P14s that came to Australia.
Yeah, that's right. We may have even had it in our store here because we had a P14 sniper here a while back, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You reckon that was it?
No, I don't think. But anyway,
It could have been it.
could have been. 1 in 60 chance of it.
70, didn't you say?
70 chance, whatever it was, yeah. The P14s were fitted up with a pattern 1918 scope, which was a 3.5 power magnification, fairly ordinary. It was almost a direct rip-off of the German scope, one of the German scopes that were used by the Germans in France. Although, and a similar setup in a claw front mount and a peg at the rear, and it was just fitted up like that. The claws went into the front, the rear went into a socket, and a little over-center latch came around and locked it in place. The P14 was built like that, and we had a few examples, so no doubt the engineers or whoever they were at Lithgow thought, well, we might as well use the same idea, and so they did. In fact, the government got a little manufacturing facility set up to manufacture these scopes. They're an absolute copy of the patent 1918 scope, and they are marked AOC, Australian Optical Corporation. And we bought glass from the US, and we even got a couple of technicians from the US to come out and train our people on how to grind lenses and so on. So, and in their wonderful foresight, Very soon after the armistice in 1945, the Australian government closed that factory. They were making, by the way, they weren't just making these scopes, they were making sights for artillery and various other lenses for other optical equipment that the Australian Army was using. So the Australian Army started building these in 1944. They tried to recall all the marksman's rifles that they made up with the heavy barrels in them. That was their idea. They'd recall them because they knew they shot well, but they actually rebuilt these rifles completely. The ones they got back, they put a brand new heavy barrel in them, almost all new woodwork all over them, returned them to the original spec as they came out in the First World War, and fitted them up with the scope, and they were barely issued. There wasn't many of them used because it was so late in the war. By the time they got them manufactured and tested and then sent out to various units, they didn't get very many to the front line. But while this was going on, or even before this was going on in England, the Brits had decided to upgrade their sniper rifles too, because they were stuck with the P14s and a few other scoped rifles, but it was a real motley crew. They'd had about 4 or 5 contractors fitting up scopes to rifles during the First World War, and they had all sorts of setups with some American scopes, some scopes made in England and so on.
Well, why were they worried about it? Were the Brits really getting chopped up by the Germans?
Yeah, because the Germans had a sniping setup, you know, in their army where they trained snipers, and they had very good rifles and very good scopes. So by the time of the Second World War, the Germans had like not perfected, but they improved their equipment and their training tremendously, and they'd come up against the Russians on the Eastern Front, and the Russians had thousands of snipers with their wonderful old Mosin Nagant set up with
Short range snipers.
But it was a
they weren't bad.
so it was clearly a real tactical manoeuvre to have good snipers on the front line.
You're right, absolutely. You know, one sniper would only have to shoot 2 or 3 blokes a day, and it would keep 50 guys' heads down. You know, they weren't going to stick their heads up if they knew a couple of their mates had already been shot that day. It was a tactical move, that's for sure. Anyway, the Brits had decided that. First off, they decided that they were going to equip the Bren gun with a telescope, with a telescopic sight.
Fuck, that'd be nice. I'd like to be holding. I mean, they're heavy, but wouldn't you like to be a bloke with a Bren gun with a scope?
Sometimes I think there's no better way than accuracy via volume.
Yeah.
But the Bren guns were actually, for a machine gun, were surprisingly accurate.
Yeah.
Piece through superior firepower.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why fire 1 shot when you can fire 20?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not paying for the ammo.
They'd started into this enterprise pretty early in the war, and they developed this number 32 scope.
Is that a number 32 scope?
This is a reproduction number 32 scope, the early one with the sunshade, extendable sunshade, Mark 1. They went through a number of marks, as the British always did when they improved things. They usually belted something out to make use of a product, and found there was always something wrong with it, so they went back and had improved. In the end, these were very robust scope. But as you'll notice, all telescopes nowadays have the windage adjuster on the right-hand side, elevation on top, and a parallax adjustment here if necessary. But because this was going to be mounted on a Bren gun, and with this bracket, the magazine was about here, so you couldn't have an adjustment there, so they put the windage adjustment on the opposite side, on the left-hand side.
For a right-hander, that actually makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and bring your arm across to adjust
That's right.
windage, or take your hand off the pistol grip to adjust windage. And you can just adjust it all. It actually makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
And as you can see, the shooter's down here just behind it. He can look down here and see the graduations on the windage, and you can see the graduations on the elevation. So it's easy enough for him to just a couple of clicks windage. They're fairly coarse clicks, I might add, half minute of angle clicks, and the elevation is actually, you zeroed it first, and then reset the drum with 3 hands and a special tool, and you reset it to the target, the yardage you were shooting at, and then after that it was correct for Mark 7 ammunition through a number 4.
Look very positive, those clicks too, are they?
They are.
They don't feel like you're dragging it over broken glass or anything like that. It feels like you're actually in the...
Very nice. I think it's got a Austin A40 spring in there that has actually got the hold on the ball that he does the detents.
One of the ones that used to hold the spotlights, or one of the valve springs?
Oh, it might have been a valve spring.
Might have been a valve
Yeah. Austin A40 valve spring. But the idea of this scope was it could be taken off easily and put back on and would return to 0.
why would you do that?
Because someone was chasing you.
You're gonna stop and fucking do that?
No, I don't know. It's not just typical British.
Or you got to be able to take the scope off and use the open sights.
Yeah.
Who in their right fucking mind would ever do that?
Yeah, not many.
Well,
But
depends,
anyway-
I suppose if you're storming a building or something like that, you wouldn't be running around with a scope.
If I one of them and I was storming the building, I'd be saying to me mates, look, you go in there, I'm going to hang around out here and shoot some cunts out the window. Shoot some people out the window.
Or maybe you dropped it and cracked a lens. They're not that robust.
Yeah, but even then, I'd still be like, I'd go back to the Q storm and say, hey, I need another scope. I wouldn't just take the scope off.
But anyway,
Please stop shooting at me for a second. I've just got to go back to the store and get
I'll just run, yeah.
You'd be knackered
No,
anyway.
right, scope, I'm out of here.
You'd be knackered anyway, Zed. Your rifle would be in bits.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
How does this fucking work?
one of the interesting facts to do with these rifles with a 303 number 4 Mark 1, they were nearly all Mark 1s, not Mark 2s, telescope, was that the well-renowned firm Holland & Holland actually set them up, and they were given a set of specifications that they had to meet, and Holland & Holland manufactured quite a few of these in the thousands, and tested them all, and apparently there was only one ever didn't meet the spec when the army got it, and Holland & Holland took it back, of course, and corrected it, whatever it was. So, and the British Army used these for quite a while after the war. Obviously they didn't need them very often, but they were still used. And then, as they thought about moving to issue SLRs to the British Army, and therefore they're going to 7.62 by 51 ammunition, they experimented with building these in 308. Apparently it wasn't very successful. They couldn't get them to shoot as accurately as they'd like, and there was a lot of experimentation done, and in the end they bit the bullet and decided that they would do something bit more radical, and they using the same old number 4 actions, and for a start the same scopes, they fitted up the number 4s with a 28-inch heavy barrel, a lot heavier than the original one that fitted inside the wood furniture on the original number 4s. They used the number 32 scope still, and the first iteration of that on them was the Mark II, which was a little bit waterproof. They tried waterproofing it a bit better. still wasn't 100% successful, but it was a lot better. And they just, for some wonderful serendipity reason, they worked out that the graduations here could be read in metres instead of yards. Seeing they were using metric ammunition, of course. No one got that, eh? No.
I actually wasn't listening to you.
No, I was listening.
Well,
I was reading the comments.
7.62 by 51, they're in metric ammo, so obviously it's got to be in metres, doesn't it?
Well, because it shoots flatter, that you can just use it in metres instead of yards.
All right, we'll go on.
It'll hit a human-sized target.
Anyway, this is about the early 1970s, about 1971. They started building these, and it was designated L42, L42A1.
And where were they using these?
Everywhere the British like to poke their nose in.
Like where? Falklands.
Certainly use them in the Philippines. In the Yemen, where they were having a bit of a kerfuffle with a few Arabs there.
What the hell were they doing in Yemen? What year?
And Oman.
1970s, early 70s.
And Oman.
Oman, yeah. Oman was another one where they were.
Yep.
They were
Yes,
They were trying to keep the Yemenis out of Oman. That was the thing.
the SAS were there.
Yeah, the SAS.
One of their greatest battle ever was at Kerr
Yeah.
something like that, where
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 of them held off like 200
Yeah.
bloody marauding
Yeah.
Arabs and using mortars and all sorts of shit
Yeah.
to try and keep them at bay. Big,
It was a big
couple
show.
of big Fijians
Yeah.
were part of the SAS at that stage.
They were a bit lucky. They had a bloody, was it a 25 pounder or an anti-tank
Yeah,
gun?
they had some sort of big gun that they
Yeah.
just ran into the ground.
Yeah, they used Splintex, mowed a few down.
That'll do it every time.
Yeah. But this rifle was very robust. The scope was very robust, and the troops loved them. There's anecdotal story going around that in '91, when the first Gulf War blew up, the SAS were there, and they had AI sniper rifles in those days. They'd been issued with them, and these had been withdrawn, and they had a few troubles with the dirt, the sand, and the dust and crap lying around.
I think they had a third party making the firing pins, and they didn't heat treat them right. I think that's what I read on Forgotten Weapons about the AIs.
I know the SAS asked for these back, and
MkIII,
Murbat, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. That was the battle.
I didn't ask.
These guys, the SAS wanted it back, and then, so, typical of the British, normally they don't throw a thing away. They keep everything. They could reissue Snyders and bloody 3-banded bloody musketoons and things like that, you know. They didn't have them in this case.
They ran out of uniforms. Poor bastards turned back up in red coats.
Yeah. Anyway, they remade a few for the SAS, and they got their L42s back for a while.
Oh, Enfield.
Huh?
Enfield. Who made it?
Enfield, yeah. Yeah, they found some number 4 actions that had never been used or some bloody thing. And so in the L42 configuration, they used a slightly different magazine. Yeah, if we can get
One that comes out.
Yeah, one that comes out. The 7.62 by 51 is a little bit shorter, so they've got a filler, but it becomes a feed ramp in the front of the magazine. It's a slightly different shape. It's got a
Boxier sort of shape.
flatter base to it because the cases are not as tapered, so you can still get 10 rounds
They don't
on
have
it.
a rim on them, eh?
Yeah.
And they don't have a rim, which is very handy. And there was a couple of Enfield and Sterling both made conversions for number 4s that they thought they would sell all over the world because there were lots of countries still using a number 4. It never quite worked out that well though. But you'll find Sterling mags around that have they depend on the ejector being moved in the body of the rifle to act as an ejector on the shorter round, and also on the Enfield they have an ejector, little ejector brazed here onto the side of the magazine, and it flicks an empty case out as well. But quite often that wasn't terribly effective, so people had grind it off and moved the ejector screw up along the body by about 10 millimeters. But as with all these old Enfields, they were very robust and very reliable, and although they weren't exported, these L42s weren't exported, they were a fine rifle.
So what does the Australian Army use now for a sniper rifle?
I don't know what they use. Something that's probably not as good as this.
It's probably like a Savage Axis or something.
Fuck that.
Savage Axis.
You reckon they use a blazer?
No, I don't think so.
They were using TRGs for a while, weren't they?
Yeah.
Seiko TRGs.
I think that's what.
British Army.
British Army? No, I'm talking about Australian.
No,
Oh,
Australians.
Australians. They've used everything.
I know they've used
they had-
Accuracy International.
Because they also used the ticker like M55s or whatever for a while.
That's right. They had
Did
the
they?
old M55.
Yeah,
With
with a
those
wooden fucking target stock on it.
Yeah.
They'll fucking use anything, won't they?
Yeah. Are we not using the Barretts as well? Like,
We probably are, but would
In
be
338,
would be an anti-material.
but not like a 308.
not 308.
Yep, macro pod, thank you. Blazer R8.
R8.
Yeah. I had a feeling they were using blazers or something.
It could be. Oh yeah, the SAS are using blazers. They were anyway.
Yeah.
Because when I was at Cooley up one day, they had them down there.
Yeah.
We got
yeah.
the shoot.
If you don't shut a blazer properly though, they don't go off. You gotta really go and push that
Because they've
bolt.
got most bright.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between a and a
Because I've got a feeling that if I don't shut
If
my
you've got that bolt
It's
handle
not
right
gonna
there,
go off.
it's not going to go off.
But if
it's
it don't
quite
shut it, you don't
obvious,
want it to
can
go
see
off.
it behind the gun.
Yeah. But
That's because they've got that funny finger fucking thing.
But I suppose they would get training to try and mitigate that.
anyway, there you go. They're lovely old rifles.
Anyway, I'd like to put that forward as the next sniper rifle calibre of
Put that
the Australian military, the 16mm DTAC.
You reckon?
I reckon that's a brilliant long range material cartridge.
Maybe if you can line.
300 Norman mag would be plenty good enough.
You still got to make another one of those for Tony.
That's why I'm bringing this out. I'm saying now, I just want to apologise. I've got all the material now to do it, but I haven't made. I've got to make up several of these for a couple of different clients. 16mm DTAC rounds. I've also got to find someone to make me a barrel.
Let's have a look up close. People want to
So
see
what
that.
it is, it's a 50 BMG case. It's blown out and then necked up to 16mm, which is probably as big as what you'd want to go on a 50 cal case. So, and it'd be legal in WA because
No, it wouldn't.
yes, it would, because
No.
it's under 20mm. It's
Yeah,
legal.
but it's a very powerful rifle.
Oh, it's not on the list yet.
I
I don't know.
And it will be tomorrow.
If you load the bullets backwards, they might shed enough energy. By 300 metres, they might be less than a 300 Win mag. Not that we know that that's what their policy is, but that's what we're pretty sure their policy is.
What if we do it up to like a 125 grain projectile or something?
Yeah,
Like
that's
something really, really light.
Yeah, and just load it up with bloody Trarbos, like 30 grains of Trarbos or something, with a heap of bloody Dacron shoved in there.
A fucking subsonic 50 BMG.
Yeah, or 16mm, but yeah.
That's not as silly as it sounds, is it?
Yeah, but the problem is I've done the maths on it, and I think the bullet weight that we're going to be shooting is around about 1800 grains. So we need to work out, the bullet would have to go about 50 feet per second to become under the energy figures. You know, you'd probably have to throw it or something, and it'd probably still have more energy than a throw would make. Actually, I wonder if how fast, we'd have to work out how fast you have to throw a brick to be a very powerful firer. I reckon we could do the maths on that. Well, there's something for me for next Friday Night Live. I'm going to figure out mathematically how fast you would have to make a brick go for it to be a very powerful firearm.
Throw us a thumbs up if we ever build this rifle.
We'll get your arm certified as a.
If you want to come out and have a
We'll
shot.
have a competition. We'll see who can throw a brick fast through. Well, do we have a chronograph that does bricks? Not
Well,
really.
we
could work it out.
put some metal in the brick.
Well, I don't think a brick would weigh as much as what that bloody projectile's going to weigh.
I know that the guys over at Applied Ballistics will do like custom ballistic systems for your guns when you go to one of their shoots. I wonder if we send them some ammo, would they be able to do it?
Yeah.
Send them half a pallet of bricks and say, look, can you get the BCs on these bricks for us?
Yeah.
So that way we can do the ballistics and work out.
In both G1 and G7, please.
I think it's a solid G1 or a G6, yeah.
Nathan Denning reckons 12.7 by 40 fag out.
What?
12.7 by 40 fag out.
It's like a blackout, but for faggots.
No,
I think that's a tautology. I think all blackouts are for faggots. But you know. Anyway, so I'm going to make some more of these up.
I gave that a thumbs up. Man. That's the best thing I've seen today, to be honest.
And if you want one,
pretty
let me know. We've already got a couple that I've got to make. So yeah, I'm going to redesign the Prodigy though. That Prodigy's a little bit. Oh, it's all right.
Kind of looks a little bit like an A-tip.
I could probably get it. Nah, the A-tips are Secan O guys.
Oh yeah, well that's why I said a little bit.
Well, it's not a Secan O. Well, you can't. That's my fucking 16mm DTAC.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
I'll get it for you. You talk
Thank
about
you.
this.
What am I talking about?
The raffle.
Christmas raffle. I don't even know anything about it. You talk about it.
Alright, Christmas raffle. I know little about it. Alright, so.
It was your idea.
No, it was Nick's idea. So, I just approved it. So, if you spend $40 in the store, you get the option to go into our raffle to win a few prizes. So, first prize is headlamp, Pelican headlamp. Second prize is a novelty 20mm Vulcan round that actually is a case prep tool. So, that's pretty cool. And third prize is a Bear Grylls survival kit thing. So, when you spend $40, you say, yes, Trent, I would like to go into the raffle. We fill out your little details and we throw it in the box over there. Now, I believe we're going to draw it on
22nd.
22nd. We're going to draw it on the 22nd of December.
What's today? 11th? What?
The 11th.
Something like that.
The 11th. And, yeah, we'll let you know who wins. So, cool. I really want to push this up now.
Couple of interesting guns. So this is a Ruger Mark, just a M77 that a client bought him, and
Do you want me to move over a little bit?
I just want to make sure I'm in frame.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the client wanted bigger mags for it, and so you can go to an AI system, but we actually had a couple of these P-Mag things left over. So that's a 20 round,
That'd be 20.
25 round.
That'd be 20 for sure.
It's actually got restricted for military use only. Export use only written on the mag. Anyway, and Bill made up a mag system for it. You probably would have seen one of these before. This is about the third or fourth one that we've done now. But it takes those mags. He made the catch work particularly on the... Oh, is that all the way in? No. He made the catch work specifically on these style of mags, yeah? So, yeah, it's... and it works really, really well. It's so much better than trying to make an extra mag release on the back or anything like that. We tried that before, they never seemed to work. But that works really, really well. It's made an extra large button there on the side, and it feeds the mag, rounds out the mag really well. So that's one of the ones that he's been playing with and he's done. The other one, which I gave him a bit of a hand with, is this one here, which is, so that's a Mosin 98. What caliber is it in?
What's a Zastava?
22-250.
50.
22-50. There's a Zastava.
Zastava.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking Mosin 98.
Yeah.
Well, that's like saying that Ruby just had to more than 98.
No, because it doesn't have a large ring. The action threads is different to a Mosin 98.
What's that say?
Doesn't matter, that's the manufacturer. Mosin 98, I wasn't talking about the manufacturer, I was talking about the design of gun.
Everyone made Mauser 98s in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. So this is actually a Mosin 98.
Yeah. Well,
It's the larger.
That's the design.
More than
Yeah. Larger and audio.
The only thing that
This is the same guy that had fucking cried me the other day when I named a rifle wrong, because it's one of those, but it was designed made by someone else, and then all of a sudden
Doesn't have the.
It's probably because I was right and you're wrong.
Yeah,
If you
but
notice,
you were right. But like I'm right now.
doesn't have the cutout for the strip.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is a commercial Mauser 98. I mean, if you had said this is your commercial Mauser 98, I would have said you're right, Trent, but I'm not because you're wrong. And this one doesn't have the cutout. It's something. Otherwise, it's Mauser 98.
It's a Zastava.
It's a Zastava Mauser 98.
No, but it's still a Zastava.
It's a factory that the Germans left behind in 1945 when they fucked off from Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're still making the bloody thing.
So
What's up?
is that yours? No, I'm good. So yeah. So anyway, we wanted to make a floor plate system for it. So we actually designed it and milled it all out on my CNC. So it goes right up inside the gun. I wish I could take it out and show you, but it goes right up in there. So it guides the magazine really, really well. It's just a touch short at the front. So next time I do it, we'll use a slightly bigger piece of material to do it. But it turned out really, really well. And the back hatch. But this one is to take AI magazines. But you see it's wider than the original. We've left it nice and fat here so we can put these scoops in it to help guide the magazine in. So in the dark they go in much easier. And it would also mean we could do some embellishment and whatnot if we did another one. You know, we could put some lightning grooves and maybe engrave beacons down the side or something.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of some sort of
A hunting scene.
Yeah, get it hand engraved, get Reno to do it. And but yeah, so that's just another real cool. Oh, and the trigger guard and everything's integral. So we had to do it like this on this because on the Ruger it's actually a 2 or 3 piece system, so you can make the AR systems easier. But with this, you have to make it out of 1 piece. So
It's also a switch.
it turned out really well. Sorry,
This is a switch barrel one, isn't it?
right?
it's got a throughout barrel.
It says so on the thing, but that barrel hasn't been out of it, I'm sure.
I'm pretty
It's
certain
a
the guys.
switch barrel where?
I'm pretty certain the guys also got a 308 barrel for it.
It's not a switch barrel, just the barrel unscrews. They all unscrew.
All right.
Yeah, but he wants.
You're wrong again,
There's
Trent.
something on the job card about being a switch barrel.
Or he might want it turned into a switch
Yeah,
barrel.
that's what
Or
I
he's got another one.
I'm not sure.
Has he got the license in 2 colours?
It's on the card as a 308.
Anyway,
but
that's not what we're here to brag about. We're here to brag about Bill's beautiful magazine system that he made,
And I'm just here to be wrong.
and that if you've got a gun that you want an extended magazine system made for and you can't buy anything aftermarket to adapt it, we can do it.
Are we going to be finishing it to match the metalwork on there? Or?
Yeah. It's just in the raw at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just raw rally.
Yep.
Yeah. We can also get anodizing done. So if you want like red or blue or green or something like that, tan anodizing, we can do that too.
But I reckon I should have a guy designing something to engrave on that. It's a nice rectangular space.
Well, we've got a laser engraver. We can
Yeah.
engrave
We could just
scroll work and all
We could
sorts
just put like 15 of your faces on it.
That's what all's going to be.
Which one of these do you want? Oh,
Well, I think we're just going to bring up both.
okay.
We might as well talk about both.
I've got the one that everyone's seen already.
Yep, so that's the Speedline, the Verney Carron Speedline. That one's actually 7mm rem mag.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a
I
fancy
kept thinking
sort of
this is
setup.
the 300, but it's not.
Basically, everybody's seen that one so far, and everybody's wanted to talk about the new 12 gauge, the Veloce. So I thought we'll bring that one out so we can show you the differences. You know, they're not exactly the same. They are slightly different in appearance as well. And yeah, have a quick
Before anyone asks, no, we haven't seen the 10 round mags for these yet.
No, well, I was only going to be for the 308s.
Yeah.
So apparently they still haven't. Well, they put that on the back burner. But anyway, you want to bring that over here?
Yeah, let's bring it in.
So we do now have the Verney Carron Veloce. Now it is slightly different from the rifle, just purely where the release lever is and a few other things. However, it does have some different checkering. We'll call it checkering.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit. I actually don't mind this one, to be honest. It's still got the same sort of basket weave style. However, it's got this big V that's now cut into it for Veloce, which you'll find on the other side as well in the actual action. I think that's pretty cool. Crossbar safety, I didn't notice that to start off with, but whatever. 5
While
round
you get on
magazine.
the other side, talk about the release as well.
This side?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that there, you can actually push it across. Oh, I think you might have to have it.
Yeah, I'll have to shut it.
Oh, then you push that button. Oh, does it work now? It works now. Alright, so it actually is a little pin that comes out and across. I don't know if we'll be able to
Yes,
see it.
a lot of guys don't like when they're finished shooting, they don't want to cycle all the rounds through the...
You want to see if you can get up in there and we'll show you what this little pin does. You might be able to...
Cycle the rounds through it, because it can be dangerous.
Yeah, so once you do, if you don't want to do that, you can push this little lever down and you can actually just unload all of the rounds straight out the bottom. So
It gates it off, so it doesn't automatically load a new round.
so it
every
just
time
won't
you fire
feed it, which I think is a pretty cool idea, I guess.
It's a good feature, if, especially if you're shooting with someone who's not experienced.
So it's a little lever around here, and if I pull, I won't let me push it back in there. There you go. So just so you can see it just there, it actually prevents the round from coming out. So yeah, but it does have a couple of little features on it that, if you weren't knowing what you're looking for to begin with too, like we had to find them out ourselves. With the rifle, when you were playing around with it, you couldn't just fire the bolt forward. Well, you can just fire the bolt forward anytime you want. However, on this one here, if you pull the bolt back and you go to push it, nothing happens until you actually pretend to load a round into it.
That's only on the last round, though.
Yeah, only on the last round. It's just a lock off to let you know that you've finished, but
It's
originally...
actually a good feature to have.
Yeah, really.
It means you don't shut the bolt on an empty chamber and try and shoot something.
Well, the Adlers have got it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. 5 round magazine.
Can extend the magazines on them, yeah. So from the factory, you can get 7 round aftermarket mags for them. I haven't tried yet, but I'm certain we could make a 10 or a 12 round magazine for one of these as well.
These things are
Nice bit of wood on it.
Yeah. We've got
Really?
3 in and they're all really, really featureful.
But this is the Veloce, this is what everyone's been waiting for. This is what, unfortunately we ordered 5 in our first order and only got 3. That's how probably sought after, and all 3 are sold. We've still got more on back order. How many more on back order have you got?
I've only got 2 currently, but I've put another 5 on order.
No, I mean how many have people ordered? How many are already sold?
In Australia?
No, with us, a couple like. So
4.
another 4?
No, just 4.
Oh, okay. So if we get more than 2 in the next, more than 1 in the next order,
Yep.
if you put an order in now, you'll get in the next order, is what I'm saying.
Hopefully.
You know what I'm saying?
So these things, we've got them going for 3,500, 3,585, something
Okay.
like that. They do come in a hard case. They come with 5 chokes, choke tool.
What kind of choke are
Oh, they've got all of them.
they? No, what style of
I
choke?
don't know. I haven't taken it out.
Okay, it's the same, it's the European style choke with the buttress style thread, so same as Beretta and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, battery's running a little bit light.
Always is.
Alright, so we'll wrap it up then.
Cool.
I don't think there's any much more that we could talk about anyway.
Still got to do a cartridge, don't you?
Why are you gay? Oh, we haven't spoken about that.
Didn't do it
We'll
last
have to
week.
do like a week of fucking research before we have why are you gay.
Why? What are we going to do?
Doesn't matter, you don't know shit.
I don't know. I think you did pretty well with the wisdom.
But off the top of your head, are you going to be able to rip piss out of a calibre that I choose?
Yep.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Pick one that you
I'm
are.
going to have to do your job as well, again.
No, because what you're doing it from a gunsmith's point of view. I'll be doing it from a salesperson's point of view.
What did I say?
Am
I was going
I
to choose
a
last
gunsmith? No. How many guns do I fix out the back? None. How many guns do I build out the back? None. So how the fuck am I supposed to know anything about the ins and outs of why something works or doesn't work in a fucking technical sense?
Have you not heard of Google?
I don't need to know that
You
shit.
just need to look it up
I
on
need
Google.
to know how much it fucking costs and what it's going to shoot and how well it
No,
does
you
it.
can at least make an attempt to try and...
You could make an attempt not to be a cunt, but that doesn't happen either.
You've known me for how
So-
long now?
About 5 years.
Yes.
And about 5 years. What? Throw us a like, actually. Big thumbs up. If you next Friday night,
Oh,
we punch on.
It's okay.
Because he said that I'm allowed to fight one customer a day.
I'm not a customer. I don't
No,
pay for shit.
but what I'm going to do is if I can fight one boss per year, I pick him first. Bill, you're up next year.
I was going to say, you're too scared to take Bill on. He'd
Fucking
clap
hell.
you with those fucking
I know, look at
hands.
the size of their hands.
Yeah, clap
It's
you,
just like,
yeah.
buzz. I'd wake up and be 30, 35. No, I pick cartridge. Do it.
Okay, 30-30. Grab a packet. Grab a packet 30-30.
Oh,
Oh, new 30-30 packet.
I've got 2 new 30-30 packets. So, the reason why we've got new 30-30 packets is because I can't get the blue packets of Federal at the moment because they're on back order.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what are those?
These are the new hammer down from Federal. So, they're their premium round.
What's special about it?
They're apparently supposed to run better and make your lever action run more smooth and
I think they're like a bonded
yeah.
tip or something.
So, I don't really know.
Just give me the packet. 30-30. When was it invented?
Ages ago.
Bill, when was 30-30 invented?
1994.
There you go. 1894. That's what I was going to say.
And why is it called 30-30?
Because it's a 30 caliber projectile with 30 grains of black powder behind it.
Oh, well done.
Oh! Bam! Throw a like up if you like that.
Make your lever gun run like never before. Hammer down cartridge's geometry is optimised to ensure flawless cycling through tubular magazines. This is like saying putting grease on your car seats and saying that the car's going to run better.
Right.
Because you can get into the seat better. Like, it's not relative.
But it's not untrue.
I was going to say, for you
All
two,
the
I mean, you've got to
cycling
grease so you can
through
get out of the
tubular
seat.
magazines.
Oh, wow. Did you hear what he just said?
What? Sorry, say again?
He said we got to grease the seats for us to get in and out because
Yeah.
basically we're so fat. That's not narrative. What we should do is zoom in on fucking Hobbit's foot over there.
Yeah, it's a bit nasty, isn't it?
See their tops running around without fucking shoes on.
If only we had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't smell.
It's terrible in here.
Tag, filling, accuracy, and power. What's tag filling?
So that when you, because
Oh, when you get tags, so you fill
yeah,
your
so
tag.
you got it, that's it, yeah. So,
I thought it was something about
so you're not just going out
shit
there
in
and
pants or
you're
something.
not just going out there and firing
Fundy,
around.
filling, accuracy, and power.
That'll be the DTAC, I
So,
reckon.
patent pending geometry.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the geometry is restricted by SAMI specifications. They can't.
Well, you can quite clearly see, like, right there. Oh, ignore that dent that's already in it. But
Is that part of their geometry?
it must be. It's already got a dent.
It's got a fucking
Fucking
dent.
shoulder.
Oh no! Oh, look at that! The fucking rim is tapered like that. That's part of the feeding thing. Look at it.
Oh, this too. There
It's
you go.
spun out.
See if you can get that up close.
Can you see the rim is shaped?
Let's go to a Hornady round and see whether that's the same.
It's taken them 120 years, but they're picking up on the 7.62x54 idea. No, it's not exactly like that, but yeah, that rim is tapered
Oh, Hornady,
from top to bottom.
you're left behind, fellas. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't think we can see that here.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to get a bit of paper and I'll draw it? Grab me a bit of paper
Give me a bit of paper.
and I'll draw it for
Have
people.
you got a pen?
No. Have you got one?
No.
Bill, you got a pen?
There should be a marker pen on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a marker.
I'm just going to grab a set of calipers.
Oh, he's just going to go grab a set of calipers.
God knows why.
I don't have a clue. But
I did actually do a write-up on both of those two a couple of months ago. If you go back on our newsletters,
All right, so I've got some Imperial calipers because only the old pricks that are watching this are going to give a shit.
metric wasn't invented when they were doing
So I don't want to scare anyone.
30.
So the rim size is 497, so just under ½ inch. What are they on Hornets? Oh, I don't know. I need a Hornady one.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see.
Well, this got interesting, didn't it? Got interesting quick.
½ inch. So they're actually 3 thou smaller on the rim diameter. 3 to 4 thou smaller. That's considerable, you know 4 thou. That's actually quite a bit. So the rims are a bit smaller, but they're tapered. So what's the body of the case? 416. Same diameter.
Not when we get your battery pack. I think we're about to last longer.
I don't have them.
Oh, okay. How much battery got left?
Oh, less than 15.
Oh, okay. So if we knock off early again like we did the other week, sorry about that. You wouldn't believe how long we actually spoke for after the battery went dead, like a pair of dickheads, until Zaine's missus Nicole rang us and went, "You know your dickheads aren't on TV anymore." And we're just sitting here talking about stuff. So, yeah, there you go.
So I've exaggerated it, but this is how a normal rim looks, as an exaggeration, as a caricature. Yeah, so it's a big square rim. This new Federal one is actually tapered, like that. Yeah, and the rim at the bottom is smaller than this rim, slightly. Now, what they're saying is that, what I'm gathering is that that design actually helps these rounds feed into the chamber. You don't have as many stoppages through the feeding systems in... You're right.
Yep, I'm fine.
That was just Bill.
Just kicking the fucking
Bill
bench
just
around.
kicking the shit out of the shop.
Yeah, so that's one design change that they've done, and that's pretty much the only thing that I can see that's different. Is there anything else that's
You
different?
can't make too much different, otherwise it won't fit in the Sami specs.
Yeah, it's it.
Yeah. Now,
Hey!
what's the good point of that? Their argument is that that will make it feed better, and I don't disagree with that. I reckon that could make it feed better. But what it's done is it's reduced the amount of rim which your extractor sits on to pull the case out of the chamber. You know what I'm saying? So if you would have a high pressure round and a sticky case, maybe you've got some shit in the chamber or some rust in the chamber or something like that, then maybe these rounds don't come out as easily. I don't know.
Oh, that's why they're nickeled, probably.
Yeah, probably, well, yeah, nickel case. Nickel cases are much smoother. They can track more after firing, so they're easier to pull out. So that's...
They probably
To
overcome
offset
it
the
with
top.
that, yeah. There's usually no free lunch.
No. What sort of velocity have they got on the Hornadies? And that's the Lee Revolution? So
Yeah.
they've probably got a higher velocity.
Yeah, so
160 grain are
Yep.
doing...
400. Yeah,
Okay, so this is a 150 grain are doing 2390. So they've got slightly better ballistics. But I do not like that flexi tip projectile in the Hornadies. But that's just me. Ballistically, it's superior projectile. No argument there. But there's a lot to be said for flat nose produce and the way that they work terminally.
Well, especially considering these are an up close, sort of, short range.
Relative.
Well, that's the thing.
Cartridge,
They
you know,
make
like-
that like that to try and stretch
Yeah,
the
to
range.
stretch it out a little
And
bit.
it does. It gives it. If you look at it on paper, it gives it like a good another 50 metres
Yeah.
killing range. But once it enters an animal, flat nose produce are just known to bust through bones and shit like that and just work better.
Yeah.
So it's a toss-up. Anyway, we're not talking about that case specifically. We're talking about 30-30 in general.
Yeah.
So it's a good case. It's low pressure, so it comes out of the gun easy. It's got a really good, like all the projectiles that are designed for 30-30 work really well at the velocities that 30-30 fire them at. You know what I'm saying? Like it's its own category. So all the projectiles that are made for that. Are we off or?
I don't know.
No, you're still on.
Is she in your? What's she in your phone as?
Hello.
Hey Steph.
Yeah, we're doing live. We're doing lives. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought I did.
It's alright. We're only filming.
What are you up to? Oh, you going home now? Okay. Oh, we're nearly
Think
going. The
about-
battery's nearly dead anyway.
The
So
thing about 30-30 was it was
we're going to sing
developed
home after that.
like in the mid 1890s, along with 303, 3006, 8mm Mauser, all around about 30 caliber cartridges.
But it must have been inferior as far as performance goes because it was a black powder cartridge.
Originally it was black powder case. It was only for 3 or 4 years that it was black powder case when Winchester worked out that they could put a bit of nickel in the steel and make the barrels a lot tougher.
Yeah.
They swapped in about 1896, 97. They started putting nickel steel barrels in and then
Smokeless powder.
and smokeless powder, and away they went.
Yeah, right.
And they were getting 2,400 feet per second, like a 303 British, 8mm Mauser. The 3006 was about 2,500.
Yeah, but with a bit lighter projectile.
Yeah.
And
So-
but out of a lever gun, you get 6 rounds in the mag.
Yep.
They feed well out of a lever action because of the way that the tube magazines and everything are designed.
Yep.
and they work really well on game out to about 150 metres. You know, that elk, antelope sort of size, not elk, smaller than elk. Well, you probably shoot an elk with it, but the antelope species, definitely it's a good size.
I've been reading about blokes who are shooting bloody moose with 6.5 Creedmoors at 700 yards.
One of my mates over in Northern America was out walking around and a moose took a liking to him. Well, actually, took a disliking to him and stomped fuck out of him, and he was in hospital. Those things are fucking huge.
I know they are,
Yeah,
That's like 6 foot legs on.
yeah, it come up and beat the piss out of him, just like, yeah, he ended up in hospital, poor bastard.
Anyway,
30-30.
those, I was just spruiking up the 6.5 laser, Creedmoor.
Anyway, so low pressure cartridge comes out of the gun well. Ammo and rifles are reasonably accessible for most people, and yeah, there's a few good points to it.
Another thing, I was just going to say something interesting about the 6.5 Creedmoor. I just read an article.
No one's talking about it. Yeah, all right, yeah, go.
I just read an article written by the only bloke who in America who knew what a 6.5 by 55 Swedish was, and he wrote an article comparing the two. And would you believe the Swede come out on top?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
You are the epitome of 6.5 owners, Bill. You'll start a conversation about 6.5s even though no one fucking asks.
They're the new 270 owners, aren't they?
Yeah, new Wisdom owners.
That's
yeah.
it.
It's just like, did somebody say 6.5? No. Well, the 6 point, just in case you ask. Yeah, so what have you got negative to say about a 30-30?
Negative. Wow. So much stuff negative.
Go on.
So,
We're chewing battery life.
we are, wow. So, one of the main negative things that I can think about would be the type of rifle that they're used in. So, yes, they're lever action, but it is difficult. You can put a scope on them, but it's difficult to get a good cheek weld. So, if you want to be shooting well, they're not really the rifle that you want to be using. You know, you'd rather use these open sights, hence why they're so good at short range stuff. So that's one of my negatives towards it. If you were going to use a lever action rifle, you would go for like a 44 Magnum or something like that, because that's what you use it look at his face. He loves it.
Oh, I'm bursting at the seams.
He loves it.
Piss out of you.
He loves it.
Well, hey, if you want to buy a lever action, you're not going to buy a 44, you're going to buy a 45-70 because you're a man.
You're a rich man if you want to buy a 45-70 because you've got to remortgage your house to buy ammo for it.
Not that expensive.
It's $90 for 20. That's
Pretty
pretty
good reload.
That's pretty expensive. No, apart from that,
it's a lot more expensive than double the price of 44,
yeah.
mate.
Nah, in reality,
Double the round, mate. It's fine.
yeah, it's a man's round, that's for sure. No, 30-30, look, I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about them.
Alright, so it's a low pressure round, so you don't get the performance out of it. So for the same sort of size cartridge in like a 308, you get much better performance out of it. You can't use spy point projectiles in a 30-30 or they set themselves off in the magazine. You have to use flat nose projectiles, which lower the ballistic coefficient of the projectiles. They don't work as well.
I just had some FTXs out, they've got a fucking point on them.
Yeah, and then, but the problem is that you go to an FTX projectile, they got the little soft tips on them, the design of the tip, the material that they use, they deform during flight and you lose your ballistic coefficient anyway. And you still can't push them hard, like you're still losing
How many have you ever seen they've gone off in the tube?
FTXs.
Well, pointed ones.
Oh, no, because I don't know anyone that's dumb enough to anyone who owns a lever action, generally speaking, is wise enough to know that you don't do dumb shit like that. Well, I know people that load spy point projectiles in 30-30s and then single load.
Single load.
So, you know, so there is some downfall to the 30-30.
Yeah, but there's not a
But
lot.
they are what they are, you know.
I was going to say, there's not a lot when you consider that it was made so many years ago for a certain purpose.
But also, they're a game cartridge. There's no one shooting targets unless you're shooting like some of the lever action clubs shoot, but they're not shooting like really tight groups.
No.
Mainly, it's a game cartridge, pigs and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and it's never been marketed as anything other than that.
And a pig doesn't know the difference between 2,400 and 2,600 feet per second. No. You know, so.
They haven't got a chrono.
No. The flat tip projectiles work really well on pigs. You know, you've got a tough armoured pig, he'll have mud on him and then big thick hide, skin, you know, hair and shit, fat, bone, or muscle, bone, before you get into his vitals, and that's what a 30-30 projectile is made to get through. big flat tip just smashes through all that sort of stuff
a big-
before it starts to deform and then dumps all its energy in the vital areas.
Just a big hammer down projectile.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's not what it means. But
Usually, the lever actions that are made, you know, specifically the Model 94 and the Marlin 336,
We might cut out any second now, by the way, guys, but keep going.
are nice light rifles, easy to carry. They hold 6 rounds, which is
Yep. pretty
pretty handy. So they're a carry-around gun.
Yep.
for
The
hunting.
30-30s in the Winchesters were much lighter than the Marlins.
Yeah.
Not that you can get them anymore, but I'm just saying that the design was much
Yeah.
lighter. But I did prefer the Marlins. They're a beefier gun, yeah. You can hang on to them a bit easier. In my opinion, they are a bit stronger gun, and you can mount a scope on them easier because they're side eject.
That's it.
When was the Marlin 336 design? When was that style of rifle design?
336 would have been about the same time,
1894.
1890s,
I think
yeah.
it was 1894. I think.
Yeah, I think it was
336.
around the same time.
That's
exactly.
unreal that he had the foresight to think someone's going to put a telescope on this rifle. Let's make it eject out the side.
Well, I mean, I suppose Browning had patterns, so you had to work around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Now let's make the cases eject out the top so they big hot cases come straight down on top of your head.
That's it. Head on your face.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, one thing I found was amazing with Dad's 1892 Winchester model. How far it throws brass.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You'll be finding brass 4 metres behind you.
Yeah.
But there's no
It's
consistency.
pretty positive.
So that's after it's bounced off your Stetson.
Yeah. Or if it gets caught in the top.
Yeah, so that's. I'd be interested to find out if there's. I mean, I haven't done very much reading around. Specifically formulated propellant. Well, that's not unique. Like every case has got specific formulated propellant. Nickel-plated cases, loaded velocities that provide superior ballistics for all lever actions. Well, we've defunct that because it's generating the same velocity as Hornady. Bonded projectile. Okay, yeah. So weight retention is what they're looking for. So if you're shooting heavier game like pigs and stuff like that, like you wouldn't necessarily use this ammo on kangaroos, for example. Yeah, this is a heavier game. You'd use the FTXs on kangaroos over these,
So the FTX,
in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit more frangible.
Yeah, cool. How much a packet are those?
$52 a packet.
Oh, sweet.
So they're not too bad.
Well, they're only
Little-
$5 a packet more
Than
than
a 308.
than the ordinary 30-30s that we normally keep. The power shocks we normally keep on the shelf.
Yeah. And
Well, that's really cool. I like that idea.
And
I like to see innovation. You know, like I'd like to see how it works. Like I like some clients to come back and say, yeah, they're fucking brilliant, or no, they're shit.
And why wouldn't you have a lever action in your collection?
You should have a lever. Everyone should have a lever action in their collection.
Whether that's a 45-70, 30-30.
I'll tell you what, though, if I was to
44
have,
Magnum.
and I've said this for 20 years now, if I was to have I want a lever action in my collection, yeah, it either has to be a 45-70 Marlin 1895 guide gun,
Guardian, yeah.
or a Browning BLR. I've had a couple of Browning BLRs, and I'm like they're a great concept on paper, but they're not that fun. You know, like not like a 45-70 guide gun. We had a 45-70 guide gun that we loaded 405 grainers for the client, and we put a muzzle brake on it even. And that was the most horrible, spiteful fucking gun to shoot ever. I think we were loading 2207 powder in there. Oh, it was horrible. I went out to the range, took the 6mm PVC out there, which normally shoots mint, and shoots really, really good. It doesn't shoot really well when you forget the bolt. So the bolt was here on the bench. I went out there, and this was the first, just after I finished the 45-70 for this guy, and he says, "Oh, come out to shoot." And so I was going out there expecting him to shoot it and laugh at him when he gets hurt. Anyway, I forgot my bolt, and he says, "That's all right. You can shoot my 45-70." Oh, fuck! I know what these rounds are loaded up like. Like I don't really want to shoot this. Anyway, so it was 10 shots laying down and then 5 shots sitting, and I got cleaned up in the 10 shots laying down. Yeah, this thing shot a group like that at 100 metres, which is fine, you know, for a 45-70. But the beauty is I was the only person to get all 5 rounds on the target standing because I was shooting against these old bricks. And it actually shot a very similar sized group standing as what it did laying down.
It's like shooting a slightly bigger version of Bill's hand.
Yeah, I was really happy to give it back to him. But yeah, every time you fire it, it's like getting slapped across the face with Bill's hands.
What?
Like boom!
It was like Nicky Bolcher when he comes out with his 45-70 and he goes, "Oh, I've got this red
Sure,
dot."
he's got one.
And he goes, "I really can't sight it in. It's too much."
5%.
All right, we're done.
Thanks, guys. We'll
Appreciate
catch
it,
you tomorrow.
guys. Let us know if you want one of these made, other than Tony, of course.
And we'll
And I'll make a few up. We're only going to do one batch.
we'll catch you now. Oh, we might not catch you next week. I've got something on, but he might catch
Oh,
you next
okay.
week. So catch you later, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, maybe.